All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Now Morning Show right here on TTT. And if you see Elena Villafard and Sylvester here, it's because we are speaking about volunteerism on Now. And we are chatting about the wonderful work that the Foundation for the Enhancement and Enrichment of Life does and continues to do throughout the year and have been doing for a number of years. So I'm always happy to chat with you. And I know you're keeping your distance a little bit because, you know, just off said I told you I'm still getting over the common cold there. So, yeah, so let's just keep the distance right here. But no love lost whatsoever. So, Elena, we are chatting about the continued work that Field has been doing, you know, as pertains to distributing wheelchairs as well as hospital beds and such. What is the latest update?
Right. So on Carnival Friday, while everybody was getting ready to party for Carnival weekend, Field was busy doing distributing wheelchairs. So we distributed over 20 wheelchairs to individuals who had applied during the month of February. And we plan to do this every month. So what I want viewers to know is that there's a process, because I'm getting a lot of calls about what is the wheelchair process? Do you have wheelchairs? Yes, we have wheelchairs, but there is a process.
Right.
So first they need to complete the field assessment form. It is available on our Facebook page in the notes section. So that's the field assessment form.
And just for clarity, that's a needs-based assessment.
Exactly.
Right.
And then that form is submitted to us. Once the individual is approved for the donation, then we send a volunteer to their home to measure them. Okay. When they measure them, they send us back the measurement so that we can actually build the wheelchair.
Wow.
And then at my warehouse, my team builds the wheelchair to the specifications that the individual needs.
So it's very, very customized.
Yeah, so people are thinking, what? Build this wheelchair? Yes, because we need to know certain things. So for example, your seat width. So when you sit down, what is the width of you being seated?
Right.
The length of your legs, how long do we need to make the footrest? How high does the back need to go? Those are some of the things that we need to know, in addition to assessing you as to whether or not you can actually sit on this wheelchair on your own. You know, if you sit on the wheelchair, can you sit on it without falling over?
Okay.
So we need to make sure that we protect the user, in addition to providing them with the ability to be mobile and, you know, and get around.
Because again, a wheelchair is something that the person would be using very often.
Exactly.
And being seated, they need to be comfortable, they need to be safe and such. So the dimensions that you would have gotten from them are specific to each person.
Exactly.
And, you know, and just as you say, you know, is the person able to sit in a wheelchair without falling over? So maybe safety belts may need to be put on.
Exactly.
And all these things as well. So, you know, so they go through this needs-based assessment form and they fill it out. Then you have a volunteer come and do the measurement. What's the next step?
Right. So the measurements come to us at Field. We build the wheelchair and then we call everyone together on a certain day at a certain time and invite them to come and collect their wheelchair. And they come and they actually, they get the wheelchair. That's it. But of course, at that distribution, we also do little minor adjustments. So for example, in the fitting that we did on the distribution day, we found that some individuals may actually be rubbing a little too much. When they're seated, their legs may be rubbing at the sides of the chair. You don't want that because they can actually get sores from that.
And these sores can become infected and cause a lot of other complications.
Exactly. So, you know, then we need to adjust the seat width. So maybe we measured you and we said, okay, your seat width was a 20, but you need a 20 and you need to adjust it to like a 21, or sometimes the legs, you just need to make little minor adjustments, and we do that on the day when the individual comes to receive their wheelchair. So it's a little bit of a fitting as well to make sure that it is ideal for you, the user, and that you're comfortable with it. Now also we have different types of wheelchairs. We have standard chairs, as well as we have chairs that are what we call rough riders. Which is a chair, rough riders. So it's a chair that for individuals that are moving around a lot on the road. These chairs have bicycle tires, and it's like these wide bicycle tires, not the thin ones, so that it's more maneuverable. And for those individuals, they have a very low backrest. So you almost feel like when you're sitting it for the first time,
you're reclined.
Yes. So they have to get accustomed to the feel of it. And then when they're leaving the warehouse with the chair, we also go through little things with them, little exercises. So for example, if they're going down an incline, they'll go down backwards. So, you know, our normal thing is that you're pushing someone in a wheelchair, you're on an incline surface, but you're pushing them forward.
Right.
So that's a disaster waiting
that
to happen, right? But we won't think about it because we're not the person seated in the chair. So there are little nuances like that that we have to go through, not only with the user of the chair, but with their family member, with their loved one. Exactly, and those assisting, so that they understand that there are certain precautions and certain directions that they need to take in terms of how they handle the patient and they use the chair.
Are there also motorized chairs that are offered by Field?
We have motorized chairs, but that is not something that is very common that we do. So sometimes we might get 1 or 2 donations of a motorized chair, but generally no. It's more the manual chairs that we distribute. Yes.
But again, you know, if someone has a need for it and Field has it, of course, it will be
distributed. Exactly. Once we get it and someone needs it, they can rest assured that Field is going to make it available to them.
Definitely. And in the case of if a family or a person no longer needs a chair, what happens to the chairs then? Right,
they can return the chair to Field. We clean it up and then we can make it available to someone else.
Who's in need.
Exactly, and that I'm really glad that you asked that, because that is something that we try to impress to the public, especially with our hospital beds as well. When it's no longer needed, so you may have had a surgery and you need a wheelchair or a hospital bed, but you're not going to need it for the next, you need it just for a period, for recovery or so, so maybe you have a 3-month or 6-month window of recovery and you need these items, then please return it to us so that we can make it available to someone else who needs it.
Pay it forward.
Exactly.
To someone who needs it.
Well
because,
said.
Again, these are not cheap things, and there are always people in need.
Yes.
And again, these things are finite resources because again, because they are costly, because they take time to get here, and because of many other factors, is you don't have an unlimited amount.
Exactly.
So if you're able to get and retrieve chairs and beds and such, and clean them up and have them to be used again, somebody else could benefit from it.
And we do different things at our warehouse with that as well. So for example, sometimes we might get a wheelchair that someone has returned and it may not be ideally suited to give out to someone, like there are certain parts that we just can't use. We actually can use parts from an older chair. So for example, a footrest, somebody's footrest got broken, we can actually use the part from another chair as a replacement part for a chair that someone is using. So there are all different ways in which we can all help each other in terms of making sure that we offer the best possible service to persons who are in need. And I also wanted to say that on this occasion, when we did the wheelchair distribution, we actually gave out bed liners or seat liners as well, what we call Incopads, as well as diapers to some individuals that may have needed it. So. We're hoping that we'll be able to continue to do that service when we do our wheelchair distribution. So it's also another little gift that they receive from Field at the point in time of the distribution. And I spoke to so many of the families, and there was one lady that told me that she had never seen these liners before. And it's always such a pressure for her in terms of having to take care of her mom, and you have to change the sheets all the time, and it's always, she said it's always just this big drama, and that the liners will make such a difference. So it's really our pleasure to be able to provide, not only to actually provide the item, but actually from the perspective of making people knowledgeable about items that are available that can actually make their job of taking care of a loved one a little easier.
And and that's what Field does. You enhance and enrich life.
Enhance and enrich life.
As the name implies.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you a little bit, just the day before we did the wheelchair distribution, we also did a distribution to silent emergency victims. And I really want to big up VEMCO, because with VEMCO's support, we are able to do food hampers for the victims of silent emergency, in addition to the other items that we distribute. And I mean, it really, really was a fantastic feeling. Everyone that collected their hampers, they were like, oh my God, thank you. Because, they came expecting to get clothes and shoes and You know, we gave out
other essentials,
stationery
yeah.
and those kind of essentials, and they also got a food hamper.
Yes, definitely.
So it was
yeah.
really, really really fantastic day. A
Yes,
fantastic week for us. So we had a great, different kind of carnival.
Right, yes, you know, a different carnival that benefits people.
That benefits
you know, and you know, a big thank you to Vemco as well, and of course, big thank you to Field for all the continued wonderful work that you're doing. And I want to thank you, Elena Villafana Sylvester, for joining us this morning once again to tell us about the exciting information and you know, keeping us updated with the work that Field does.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a short break and come back with much more. Stay with us.